lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through the next absolute book to launch from DC Comics, Absolute Wonder Woman by Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, Jordi Belair. Before I get into it, I want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Check out some of the awesome content on the channel, whether it's reviews, interviews, indie books, books from the big two, old books, new books, all that stuff. So hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into Absolute Wonder Woman. So I already talked about it with Absolute Batman #1. I talked about the DC All-In Special. I'm loving what DC Comics has coming up and what they've done so far with the All-In initiative, including bringing back the DC Bullet logo, which is my favorite logo in comics. Absolute Batman was amazing. If you haven't read it, go pick it up. I know it's already on second print, third print, and you can also check out my review where I go through it. The All-In Special I reviewed as well, so check that out. But this one, showing them in a new light is what we're getting. You know, Batman, I won't spoil what happened in Batman, but he's very different than what we've come to know for Bruce Wayne and his cast of characters. Now we're getting a completely new take on Wonder Woman. You can see from this, even the Pegasus she's riding is like a skeleton demon horse, and she's got tattoos. She's got a little bit of a darker tone to her face, even casting shadow, her armor, all that stuff. I love Kelly Thompson, huge fan of her work. I mean, from the stuff that she's done at Marvel in the past to what she's been doing at DC with Birds of Prey and all her indie stuff she's got going on. I was stoked to find out she was on it, and even happier to see Hayden Sherman is the artist. We'll get into his art, but in a second, I like how we open up and we're seeing this map of Gateway City. We see this slash of this map that's showing, and we're thrust into this world. A new Gateway City. We got this monolith floating over. The scope of it, nobody knows what's happening. And then we see these freaking demon things flying out from it, / dinosaurs, creatures. I love the way that Hayden panels this out. I love how these panels are overlapping this actual panel right here, which I think is phenomenal. And shout out to him too, because he's done some great stuff, whether it's Dark Spaces Wildfire with Scott Snyder, Dark Spaces Dungeon as well. I know he had a book at Dark Horse recently. He also not only is on this book, but got announced on a Batman maxi series, which I'm super stoked for. Look at this double page. His panel layout is so exciting and different than what we normally get. I mean, each panel is different. No two panel is the same shape. We get Wonder Woman with this almost Hades looking, or this Ares looking helm, completely covering her face. We get her skeleton Pegasus, this loud explosion of her entering the scene. She reaches into her bag, and you can see this green flame, which is signifying some magic. She whips out this massive sword, beheading all these demon dinosaur creatures, flying creatures. We see the public seeing or reacting to Wonder Woman, not knowing calling her a man, not realizing that it's a woman behind this armor, and she flings herself off of the Pegasus and slashing lands, and they realize, oh shit, maybe it's a woman. The narration is amazing. Once upon a time there was a princess. Princess had all the gifts all princesses could hope to have: beauty, grace, compassion, kindness, wisdom, the ability to outrun a hellhound and conjure the darkest of magics. And that's where we see the twist, right? All of this stuff is definitely inherent of the Wonder Woman we all know. But even as she takes off her helmet, puts her hand in the blood and uses it as a mask over her face, and then says a magic spell and completely disintegrating everything. And then, of course, it ends with things that every princess needs when she was raised in hell. And that is the difference of this Wonder Woman. She was not raised on Themyscira. She is the last Amazon, as the title of this first arc says. And she grew up in hell. So now we go back in the past. We see the sorceress Circe. Talks about once she ruled a remote paradise called Ea, and now she's a prisoner of a solitary wasteland in hell. Never let it be said that the gods do not have a sharp sense of humor. Never thought I'd be unhappy to see the sun here, because she sees as she's got her hands in this almost like bloody clay. We see Apollo come, And who does he bring? But he brings Diana to her. And she's like, well, what have you brought a baby to hell for? Basically, this is the punishment for the Amazons' crimes against the gods. And now Circe is now going to be the warden for Diana. And never again may she be reunited with her Amazon sisters, because they will be in prison for eternity when their service to my father ends, he says. And you can't even say the word Amazon. And he says, try it. Just try it for me. And so she can't even say the word. The word isn't even able to be spoken from her lips. That word Amazon is banned. I love the way, Apollo is depicted here. We see Circe, who's normally a villain to Diana, but now is going to become her surrogate mother. And she doesn't even know what to do. And she's like, even calls him sorry excuse for a god. Like referring to Diana as an it. Like, what if it dies? And the gods don't care. This is where she belongs for however long she is. And so, she speaks of, Apollo's arrogance, hasn't set very many rules, which is good for her because, surely this baby will die without care, but I'm not a mother. And I wasn't even tasked with keeping her alive. So I guess it'll just, take care of itself. And then we see, like, even as Diana's left just, like, laying there, a snake comes to kill her. Nope. Diana makes quick work of her. And Circe is immediately, even by the look on her face, is kind of impressed and sees that this isn't a normal baby. So now we see as Diana grows and this creature like breathes fire on her. And what does she do? She shows it compassion. Whereas you think she's about to do something harmful. And so Circe says, she's going to learn the hard way with that one. Next time this thing is going to singe all her hair off. So now we see Diana growing. We see as Circe is kind of softened to her and like becomes this mother that she never wanted to be. And says, how you fall in love with a child is by raising it. And so that is what happens. She falls in love with Diana. She raises her, teaches her different ways than the normal Wonder Woman has grown up learning. And she teaches her magic. Just these lessons, talking about there's a word. Yes. And she's like, do you know this word? What is it you haven't said? And she's like, I'm not sure it's real. It's real if you say it. So like the word Amazon, because she is being taught about the past and stuff. And you can see this library just continuing to grow with books and books. So Circe is raising her not even to be a villain, necessarily. She's Wonder Woman has changed her as much as she has changed Wonder Woman, which I think is a cool contrast to the way Diana grew up on Paradise Island. She's grown up in this cave and it's dark and surrounded by magic. And again, raising a child is how you fall in love. But letting them go is how you prove your love. So now Diana has come of age. We're about to catch up to the point where she is in the present. And now we see, Diana strolling across these dead bodies. I mean, this has to be the most badass Wonder Woman design I've ever seen. If you read Wonder Woman Dead Earth and you loved it by Daniel Warren Johnson, this is like the next logical place for you to go because it feels very much in that vein, but something completely fresh, something completely new. I mean, I love how she looks. There's like a shadow cast on her. Her skin's not as bright. It's got a little bit more of a pale look to it, right? And the blood smeared across how it goes across her eyes and her eyes being a glowing red. And, tells them, you better evacuate everybody. They're not dead. They're only stunned. And they're not what's coming. They're but harbingers for what is to come. And then we see this massive freaking creature come. And I just love this sword that she has. It reminds me of, something out of Final Fantasy. It's a mythical Athena blade forged by Hephaestus himself. It's more than capable of sending you to your maker. Go back to where you came from. And tell whatever you herald that you were mistaken. This world is protected. I loved Hayden Sherman in the books I discussed, Wildfire Dungeon, but like this is like next level. He's kicked it up a notch, and such a good pairing with Kelly Thompson. I said Absolute Batman was my favorite book of the year. This is this might be tied. This has been a great year for launches, whether it's Turtles #1 with Jason Aaron and the all-star cast of artists he's had with that. But then to have Absolute Batman. Now we got Absolute Wonder Woman. Next month we're going to have Absolute Superman, in just a couple weeks. So by far the most fun I've had with new comics in a long time. Just everything is firing on all cylinders. And when there's a healthy DC and Marvel, that's just great for comics. I think I said that in my Batman review. Excited to see kind of what Marvel does to try to compete with this, because yeah, their Ultimate comics have been fantastic. I really dig what they're doing there. This is like next level. This is like badass is like the best way to describe it. So we see, now we're back to Diana. She's talking with Circe. She talks about this word again. And, she says, say it. You know what it is, what you are. And she whispers Amazon. And then just keeps saying it. She's like, okay, yeah, it's what you are, Diana. And she, talks about how it was banned. And she's crying tears, like why? Because she asked, why would they do that? Why would they take that word from me? They don't want me to know what I am. They took it from me. And she just asks why. And so even as Circe's saying it, the word is like scratched out. And she tells her to, become what you were always meant to be. And she tells her, again, say it again. And this, like, love this panel with her eyes right here. It's amazing. She just says one word. She says Amazon. And then we flip over and we get her floating above with this, like, different kind of lasso that I have no idea what this lasso is going to be. Is it made from, it's made from magic, obviously. And then she floats. So she says, she makes the decree that she's Diana of Themyscira, last of the Amazons, daughter of Circe, princess of hell, witch of the wild isle, and you will not have this world while I still draw breath. And before I cap this off, I just want to, we lost John Cassaday recently. I've been wanting to do a episode on some of his work, including Planetary, Astonishing X-Men. I just haven't been able to bring myself to talk about it. I've reread all of it since he passed, but what a great tribute to him by Marvel, by DC Comics. Got some great people chiming in, whether it's Jim Lee, Mark Waid, Jimmy Palmiotti, just fantastic. And I am so excited for what's going to come next in Absolute Wonder Woman. If you haven't been picking these books up, you're missing out. Don't waste time. Hit your local comic shop. Add it to your pull list because these books are selling out really quick. Batman did it. Wonder Woman has already sold out. Superman's going to be the same way. So go pick these up. While you're at it, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.